lots of people, and myself included for quite a while there, just put grief and death together and not anything else. And while death it is a loss, it's not the only loss there is. And we have so many different things, death, divorce, safety. I hadn't thought until all this happened what a big thing safety is, and how we can feel when we seem to have lost that safety, when we just don't seem to have everything that we thought would be there. And it can get really scary when things change, when our life just seems turned upside down by even the simplest of things, let alone, where we're told to stay home, to not interact with other people. And that can cause grief. Now, I know I've said it a few times, grief, the definition of it, where it's the normal and natural emotional reaction to the loss of any kind. That's grief. Another way to put it is that grief is like reaching for someone or something that is familiar, only to find that when we need it one more time, it's not there. It's those so much. And right now, safety's a big one, as we're all reaching for safety and we're not finding it. And I know I talked about not going through this alone. I've talked about the John Wayne way of don't feel bad and be strong for others. There's another one that we all seem to do. I mean, myself included. I've been doing it a bit myself right now, and I'm recognizing it, and I'm trying to be better in the way I'm doing it. But another way is where it's two different things. We replace the loss, or we just try to keep busy. Replacing the loss is, in grief recovery, we call it STIRBs, short-term energy relieving behaviors. There's so many different things that can be STIRBs. It's those things that we turn to when we're going through something and we want to not recognize that we're going through it. So, we drink a little bit more. We exercise a little bit more. We sit down and watch TV. We play a video game rather than dealing with the things that are going on around us. I can remember my parents talking to me all the time as a kid about escaping into books and to fantasy and to video games, especially when we got our first one. Oh my word, did I lose myself in video games. After the accident, when we lost our 19-year-old son, I sat and played games on my phone because, one, I was sitting in a hospital and what else was I going to do? But two, it was me trying not to think about the loss I was going through. It was me trying not to deal with what was right in front of me. And the big problem, and it's the interesting one, because I've had it explained to me, we're emotional beings going through a physical world. And one of the things that we do is we intellectualize things. We try and think of it in a logical way. We're not going through something logical right now. Grief, loss, it's emotional. That feeling of safety, there's a reason we say feeling of safety. And ignoring it, trying to do something else instead of doing that, doesn't help us. It doesn't help us to move forward. And the big thing that we can do while we're going through this is to not do it alone. As I said, we're not alone doing this, but it's certain things of checking in on family members, on friends, a time to talk to those that we love. And when we talk, it's something I mentioned on before, it's Uh, in grief recovery, we talk about it of being a heart with ears, where I am here emotionally for someone else and I'm just listening. And when we can find somebody that's willing to do that with us so that we can both listen while the other person talks, not thinking about our reactions or our actions, not thinking about how this is making us feel when we're listening to them, but just being there open and honest and 100% for them. And then after, hopefully, they're willing to do the same thing, which is the hardest thing for some of us to do, to sit and listen and not talk and not compare and not think about what would I do if I was in their situation. I know I've been guilty of that a lot in my life, and over the last few years I've tried to get away from that. And it's a difficult thing to do, but I know for myself when somebody else has done that for me, it's helped me immensely. I'm not saying don't exercise, don't do the yard work you've been putting off, don't clean the house, don't do things that might make your life better. Do them, but don't do them just to not think about what's going on. Do them because they need to be done. And still take time for yourself, because this is tough. And I'm not going to tell anybody I know what they're going through, because I don't. My situation is different than your situation. My feelings are different than your feelings. Even if we had lived the same lives up till now, they'd still be different. Because we're all individuals with our own experiences, our own feelings, our own emotions. But I know that if you're having a tough time like me, it's together we make it through this. It's by being open and honest that we get through this. And it's by giving ourselves the opportunity to not be busy and to just feel. That's okay. You're not alone.